Where was he coming from?
He's coming from London, actually. I came up this afternoon, he was coming up later.
Is he the same Holly who made a couple of solo singles a year or so ago that never got
big
played?
in Japan. He used to play bass with Big in Japan.
Oh, I didn't realise that until a couple of days ago.
I didn't see you on the Tube, but a lot of people were telling us today about your performance on the Tube. Did you catch him on the Tube?
No, I didn't, no.
But you have seen Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and this is where you have the advantage over me, because it's something else.
That's right, yes, because they did a gig with me in Warrington, one of the most disastrous gigs in my life. It was quite famous because there was a bloke who spent the whole evening standing in front of the decks and just shouting, "Play some stiff, we want some stiff, play a stiff." And every time anybody else requested anything else, he just stood there the whole night saying, "Play some stiff." And they came down. I didn't realise they were the band, and I was just saying they came down with all these exotic New York disco imports and sort of, "Hey, fatso, play these," you know. And but then they started dancing and everything. And then when they got up and they were the band as well, it was really their night, you know. It was a good night. Apart from for me, personally, it was a catastrophe, but the people there seemed to quite enjoy it.
That's right, because you have quite a stage show worked out, where you do a lot of prancing and looning about on stage.
Yeah. We're just into having a good time, you know, and it just comes out like that. It's just like 5 guys and 2 girls, and that's how it works out. I mean... Were you
a fairly serious-minded band that suddenly decided you'd had enough of being serious, or did you start off being loony?
I wouldn't really call it loony, but...
What would you call it, Paul?
What would I call it? I'd call it fun, but not lunacy. No, we just wanted to get up and have a good time, you know. I mean, there's so many bands around that are pretty serious now. I mean, it's a bit doom-laden. God, the nuclear holocaust and all this crap's going to come out, you know. And I think maybe it's a reaction against that. It wasn't like sort of that thought out.
How long have you been performing as a unit then?
7 months now, about.
Oh, that's amazing. I say amazing because, I mean, you've established a name for yourself, maybe through your stage act, would you say?
Yeah, I think more through that. Because it's unusual to see people like that, I suppose, you know.
It's about time you had a record out, though. Is there any sign of any records at all?
Not at the moment. We're still waiting, but not at the moment.
Why is that? Because there was a time when bands couldn't wait to get like a record out. It was like the first priority. Well, let's get with the company and get a record. But you've had sessions on John's program, and obviously you've been playing live. Why are you waiting?
I think we'd like a good deal. You know, we don't really want to waste time with a small bit. I don't know why that is, but we just want to get there and get some money together. I mean, we're going to need money to go on the road and stuff, you know. So we just want a good deal. We're waiting for a major, like, whether that happens.
Have you found it difficult playing in Liverpool? Ex Post Facto was saying that it's difficult for bands starting up to find anywhere to play around here and get exposure to kind of get going. Did that happen for you? Was there, like, weeks or months of, God, what are we going to do?
No, not really. We held back more than anything. Like, we held back playing. It's kind of... It's quite an occasion when we do play, but I mean, we play places like the Warehouse, and we recorded in the State, and there's Dingwall's has opened a new place. I mean, there are a few places to play. I mean, but we just hold back ourselves because we don't want to really want to use it up, you know, and wear it out.
That's quite sensible, actually. Yes, I think. Rather than flogging yourselves to death, which a lot of bands do.
All right, let's have a couple then from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And on my running order here, I see that the first number is going to be called Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, and that's going to be followed up with The Only Star in Heaven. Enjoy! Frankie Goes to Hollywood in session tonight, and Holly has arrived. Holly Johnson, who's the lead singer, has joined Paul Rutherford, who sings and plays percussion. So what's kept you then, Holly?
British Rail. I've just got back from London. We played the Palace this week, and I stayed over. Blah.
Welcome. Well, we talked about a few things in your absence. Trying to sort of catch up with things. We heard a couple from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, The Only Star in Heaven, and before that, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Where did you two guys meet? Are you the founder members of the band?
Well, we met years ago. We're not founder members of the band. I got the band together with bass and drums and rehearsed the songs. Then we got more and more people in, you know, to kind of fill out the show. That's how we did it.
I mean, you're the only music of its type that... from Liverpool that I've heard anyway these days, which is sort of like dance, funk sort of stuff.
It doesn't fit into the normal Liverpool kind of Mersey sound, teardrop a la Bunnymen sound. that's why we don't really wish it to be linked with Liverpool in some respects, because people expect that kind of thing.
That's
in a
right.
Liverpool band.
That's right. Who are the people that you admire then? I mean, to go on and make this music. I mean, it's a very American kind of sound initially, isn't it?
In some respects, it's got, as our friend here has just said, funk and soul influences in it. My influences range from kind of funkadelic to the other extreme of kind of Vangelis, but that isn't territory we've explored yet.
Right. Now, the music press have had various pictures of you in poses of your on-stage performance, and that's something we were talking about before. I mean, where'd you get the inspiration for doing all that? I mean...
Well, it's the way we live, really. It's not severe put across an image. It's the people we know get into that kind of... It's like street clothes, basically.
Tarted up. It's like
I mean, you really seem... I mean, Paul gave us the impression, certainly, that you really are in control of your own destiny at this point in time, because you just kind of like waiting to get a record deal, and that you've always kind of held back a little bit till things come right. I mean, aren't you just a little bit impatient sometimes to want to go ahead and do something maybe rash?
I don't know, really.
I mean, I think it's a good thing what you're doing. I mean, I must say that it's...
If you listen to the last song, it's called The Only Star in Heaven. It's got a line in it that says, live life like a diamond ring. And that's what Frankie Goes to Hollywood is about, a gem that shines really brightly. And it's the only way it can shine. It can't do it any other way. I don't think it's rashness or impatience. That's just the way it is.
Tell me about the name of the band. I mean, what inspired that? Who's Frankie?
Yours truly. I kind of see Frankie Goes to Hollywood as a movie, and that's how and this is living out the movie all the way to Hollywood.
It actually came from a headline in I think it was the New York Times.
The New Yorker magazine.
Frank Sinatra's hitting Hollywood.
Originally.
Hollywood.
Have you guys spent much time in the States then?
Paul spent 6 months there a few years ago and brought back lots of funk for us to hear.
And sweatshirts.
To wear.
I mean, it would be an exciting prospect at this point to actually, when you get a record deal, to have something released in America so you could go over there and perform.
We really want to play New York.
Stateside would be great. When we get to Hollywood.
That's the end.
It'll be Frankie Goes to Liverpool then. We'll work our way back. Or maybe Tokyo. Tokyo's quite interesting.
I'm not coming back.
All right, back to Frankie Goes to Hollywood after this from... Who are we going to play now? Would you like to hear Aztec Camera? Yeah, sure you would.
Got the
Okay.
same management, so they'd be pleased.
Oh, okay. It fits. It's oblivious. Cha-cha-cha, Aztec Camera, and that's Oblivious. Mark O'Toole from Frankie Goes to Hollywood is now with us. Each succeeding link, that is, a space between the records, you get another member of Frankie Goes to Hollywood. How you doing?
I'm okay.
All right. Have you been with the band in its full length of its own history, which is, what, 7 months now?
Yeah, well, me, Holly, and the drummer started it, and we built up from there.
Right, okay. Gigs. I've got a note here. You're playing the Kiss Club in Birmingham on the 2nd of April.
Yeah, I believe it's got a heart-shaped stage. It sounds quite an interesting place. Soft Cellar opening it this week, I think.
Actually, in the papers, it's got that we're playing on the 19th.
Oh, that's right.
But it's all been put back now to
Right.
so that's the right date, but we've just given out.
Somebody told me
Do it
earlier
again.
today. Somebody told me earlier today at the pub when they were saying, "Who have you got in your show tonight?" I said, "Ex Post Facto and Frankie Goes to Hollywood." I said, "You know them?" And they knew you. And one of them said, "Yeah, Frankie Goes to Hollywood's a bit of a cult band." Do you see yourselves as cult bands, maybe, in this area?
In the respect of that we haven't been signed yet, and it's a kind of underground... Frankie Goes to Hollywood is the name to drop at the moment. In that respect, yeah, but it's not what we've planned to be. We've just done it.
All right, so you'd like to get a single out, you'd like to get an album out. Beyond that, maybe a video or something like that.
Oh, definitely.
video
We've got a lot of visual ideas for it.
Video would be wonderful to work in.
Yeah. So what do you do the rest of the time? Obviously, you must be doing a lot of rehearsing because of your music and your show and all that. Do you
Not
spend most of
really.
Well, very relaxed.
It's got to come naturally to us. If you force it by kind of rehearsing every day, I don't think it would
Again,
work
you use it up
in the
and wear it
same
out,
way.
you know.
It's the big secret.
Are there plenty of places? I mean, there's obviously a lot of deserted warehouses around, but are there suitable places for you, for bands yourselves to rehearse in? Because we heard earlier that there's not that many venues for young bands to get started. What about actually just practicing?
There aren't many places. We rehearse in this old prison cell behind the Hollywood Club, which is just out the back here. It's got a weird vibe to the place.
Yeah,
Strange.
sounds
It's really
terrible.
dark,
30
but
men in
down.
a cell at one
There's
point,
only
I
two
believe.
places, really. There's another place called the Ministry as well, which is...
That's up
it's up
market rehearsal.
That's £4 a night. So
My rhythm pal has come in. It's going to be a hot seat changeover tonight. In fact, I've warmed the seat up for it. It's like at 98.6 degrees at the moment.
And I'm rather dreading it because I've never operated any of this stuff before as well. So the first few minutes after 2 minutes past 10, please be quite amusing.
So stand by. All right, one more then for Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It's our first session from you tonight. This one is called Relax, Shoot It in the Right Direction. No comment, I think. Right.
says it all.
Listen, thanks for coming in. Good luck. And let us know about your record deal when you finally get something going.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Here's the last then in session from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Right. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That was the last from them in session tonight. Good session. Relax. Shoot it in the right direction. Now, where was I? Our records are a big jumbled mess. Have you sorted out what your first record's going to be yet?
No, because I had to change it because of you.
Yeah. And apparently there's somebody that looks like you that's coming to visit your program tonight.
Yes.
We have next on the program something from Teardrop Explodes. This is the last from them tonight. It's the third of our three of the best, and Colors Fly Away.